In this video, I'll show you how to create a rough resource plan using the planner in awork. This planning method is perfect for you if you want to keep an eye on your team's capacity on a monthly or weekly rather than daily basis. You don't want to use scheduled project tasks for planning, or you want to reserve your team's capacity in advance. If you'd like to plan your projects in more detail and get an accurate day-by-day overview of your team's capacity, check out the other videos in our planner playlist. Your team setup is also important. Define the capacity and availability of your users. This ensures daily capacity is shown correctly and your users aren't assigned 8 hours of bookings when they're only available for 4. If you get a lot of spontaneous requests, consider planning a daily buffer. Don't plan your users at 100% of their capacity. Always leave a little bit of wiggle room. Absences, like vacations, should also be added to the planner. This lets you spot potential bottlenecks early on. Link your calendar with awork. That way, meetings and routine tasks are reflected in the workload calculations. This also helps you prevent overbooking your users. Lastly, keep track of your projects in awork. This can be done by simply creating new projects and adding a start and an end time to them so that you always have an overview of all of your ongoing projects. Once you're happy with your team setup, you can start creating bookings. Bookings are containers which help your team understand how much time they have to work on any given project. For this workflow, we recommend that you create projects with tasks, rough deadlines, and budgets so that you know how much budget the booking for each user can have. To create a new booking, you simply open up your user, click and drag, create a new booking, choose your project, and then set the amount of time that you want that user to spend. The budget of a booking is distributed evenly across its duration. Unlike tasks, a booking's workload does not get pushed forward as time passes. It stays the same. Your users can still use project tasks to organize themselves in this workflow. These tasks should not be made workload relevant, because otherwise both the tasks as well as the bookings will be included in the workload calculation. If you want to learn more about how workload is calculated, check out our dedicated video on the topic. Now, let's have a look at how this planning flow works in specific everyday scenarios. A new project is starting soon. Who on my team has capacity to work on it? In the user view of the planner via the filter, I can go ahead and either add an entire team or individual users. Once I have done that, I can click and drag on the date range to see the availability of my users within that time frame. Once I can see who has time, I can open them and simply assign them a new booking. I can also use the checklist here to keep in mind important tasks, upcoming due dates and milestones, as well as absences. If I want to plan everything a bit more granularly, I could also hop on over to the projects view to jump directly into a task timeline. And I could also create bookings right from here while checking my team's availability. You can use the user's view of the planner during team meetings to figure out who's working on what. In order to do that, simply go ahead and either add individual users or an entire team to your view, and then each team member can give a quick update. If someone is overbooked, you can expand the view to see what they're working on, and if needs be, you could use the multi-select to easily move these bookings via AI. For status updates on very important projects, you can also move on over to the project view to then go ahead and open the task timeline of any given project so that you can see all tasks, bookings, and milestones in one view. One of my team members had something unexpected come up and they won't be able to work over the next couple of days. In the user view of the planner, the first thing that I want to do here is load in the team. I could also go ahead and just select a couple of users instead. Now, as the next step, I'm going to go ahead and assign an absence to this user. This will make sure that the user is marked as absent, which shows in the planner as well as in the planner widget on the dashboard. But more importantly, it sets this user's capacity over the next couple of days to 0. This is visible both in the planner, but also anywhere from within awork when checking for users' availability when, for example, assigning them tasks or creating bookings for them. Next up, I'm going to select the time frame in which this user will be absent to see the availability of the rest of my team. I can see that they don't have a lot of time, but if any of the bookings are urgent, I could go ahead and open up these users and simply click to drag them into another user. If the bookings are not urgent, I could go ahead and I could use the multi-select right here to select any upcoming bookings. And I could, for example, go ahead and say edit by AI to move them by an offset. One thing that's important to keep in mind is if this user uses tasks to organize themselves, we want to have a look to see if there's any tasks that are assigned to them over the next couple of days. I can do this by simply creating a task filter. It looks like this user doesn't have any upcoming tasks, which is great. Now, if there were any, I could click into them, I could reassign them, and most importantly, if they are time sensitive, I would want to make sure to either mark them as a priority, but in either way to leave a comment to let the person know that is taking over this task. Something super urgent came up that needs to be worked on today. In the user view of the planner, by selecting the day, I can see that only Sam has about an hour of availability to work on this. Now, I've already created a task filter with all of my priority tasks so that I have an easy and quick overview of anything that urgently needs to get done. For this workflow, we recommend that you use tasks rather than bookings, since communication and assignment on tasks is super easy and straightforward. All I need to do now is open up the task, go ahead and assign it to Sam. And lastly, I want to make sure that I leave a comment, just so that she knows that this is something that urgently needs to be worked on. And now you know how to use the planner in awork for rough project planning. If you want to see more, head on over to our YouTube channel and check out the playlist that we have on the planner.